10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. There. And if you're still watching, still listening, I've kept your attention for more than 10 seconds. And do you know, in this day and age, it is about all we can manage to do is keep our attention on one thing for that long. Just that, 10 seconds. Then we are already thinking of the next video, the next episode of whatever you are watching, the next thing we have to do, the next mouthful on our plate. We're ahead of ourselves, in the future, planning, trying to be there before we have even arrived. Now, Buddhism, this beautiful religion, it isn't just that. It is the perfect, and I can say perfect, guide to running your life, both in practical terms and in ways to improve your well-being mentally and physically by increasing wholesome mind states and reducing unwholesome mind states. How? How do we do this? By bringing our awareness, our attention back in to the current moment, the present moment, here and now. And you may say, well, yes, that old cliche, or that's been a bit oversaid, hasn't it? I've heard that so many times before. There must be thousands, if not tens or hundreds of thousands of videos on this medium, YouTube alone, about here and now, in the present moment. And we have all watched them over and over again. Well, at least 10 seconds of them before flicking to the next one. If you're still watching, if you're still listening, you've broken a record. Because if you've gone over 30 seconds watching this video, not only do you count as a view on YouTube, but I think you've probably broken the record for the average length of time someone on this channel, I'm not speaking about other channels, on this channel actually watches one of these many videos. I think the average time is less than 1 minute. And by far the most viewed videos on this channel are those short videos, the less than 60-second videos that have become so popular. And why? Because they're quick, on to the next thing, on to the next thing, on to the next thing. So you're not really having to wait, be patient and settle into anything. And in a way, in a roundabout way, it's quite a good thing. It's going with that activity of the mind in a semi-controlled way. But of course, you don't know when whatever you do to flick to the next short video, what is coming next, which is of course the same in life and the same with our thoughts. this beautiful religion that we call Buddhism, after the teacher we call the Buddha, who was a man with a name, Siddhartha Gautama, and he was born, lived and died like all of us have done, are doing and will do. He left as his legacy these great teachings and this Dharma, and also this Sangha, the Buddha, the Dharma and the Sangha. The Buddha, the teacher. I am not the teacher, I am the student, very much so. A relatively new Bhikkhu, although I have been practicing Buddhism for a long time. A few years as a monk, a Bhikkhu even less, and by no means qualified to teach. But I can share my experience of the practice, and if that helps, I'm always happy to do so. But there are some very good teachers you can listen to and watch on this very medium, hopefully for much longer than 30 seconds, 1 minute or 3 minutes, but for half an hour, 40 minutes, and listen carefully to their teachings, because you can learn so much. Whatever faith, religion you are, it's practical, usable. I think they're called life hacks these days. Way to get things done, way to improve your day-to-day life, your existence, your very being, in this moment, here and now. The goal of this practice of keeping moral virtue, of meditation and of developing wisdom is to become free from suffering in this lifetime, or to be happy, to become happy. And we do that by becoming content. Happiness is a result of contentment. But why is it that these platforms of entertainment, of TV, videos, whatever other mediums there are these days, we call entertainment, are so commercially viable for people wanting to sell you things? Because of course they are in front of you in your moment, and they can occupy your moment with their products, and they are specifically targeting that 10 seconds that they have your attention for, because this is all they're going to have. So in order for advertisers to go and advertise on various platforms, they want to know that the entertainer, the speaker, or whatever is being shown is keeping someone's attention for longer than that time, and therefore counting as a view, a prospective customer. So then they can throw in their advertisement for even less than 10 seconds and hope you take the bait and are hooked. This is no bad thing, this is just the commercial world. Hopefully this channel will remain free of adverts, because it isn't popular enough for it to be commercially viable, as are most of these channels with regards to Buddhism, let's say. And how that actually works, I don't know. If and when the time arrives that that starts to happen, which I also won't know unless it's reported back to me, then I think there are things you can do, because some very good channels I watch who have on Buddhism, other Buddhist monks, senior teachers, or senior monastics I regard as my teachers, have literally thousands and millions of views, and there's no adverts on those channels, so it can be done. But what I'm talking about is what this practice in Buddhism enables us to do to improve ourselves. The life hacks we can take from it, from the practice, in order to become happy, and how that works. Now, before you flick on to the next thing, or get up and grab yourself a cup of coffee because you're already bored, and let's face it, these talks can be boring. Ask yourself, if I can't sit whilst there's something to listen to and something to watch without doing something else at the same time, how can I be expected to sit and meditate for either 20 minutes, 40 minutes, or an hour without even moving, just watching one thing, maybe the breath, as my meditation object? No phone, no cup of coffee, no fiddling about. How? I can't even watch one episode of something on Netflix, which is full-on entertainment. Well, it used to be years ago when I used to watch it. I don't know what it is now. Without some pizza or some Coca-Cola or whatever. Your phone to message your friends about what you know how it is. Well, this is the practice. This is what we learn. And why? Because where do we end up? If we learn not to be looking to the next episode or to the next video or the next mouthful, but to enjoy the episode we are in, this moment, this mouthful, then we really do start to appreciate what we actually have, rather than what we want. And there is the magic word. Not what we need. When we're thirsty, we need some water, but we might want some Pepsi or Coca-Cola. But water would quench our thirst. When we're not thirsty, we might want Pepsi or Coca-Cola, just because it's nice. It isn't needed. This is the difference. And there is nothing wrong with that, having things we like. But what we learn in meditation is to have something we like all of the time. Because meditation isn't just when you're sitting there in the formal meditation session that you may practice for 20, 40 or 60 minutes each day. It isn't just when you visit the temple and you're in front of the monks and for 15 minutes you sit quietly. And yes, that is so nice, so relaxing. You're a little, well, I'm too scared to move and I'm not going to do anything with my phone, so I'm just going to sit here. And having to do that even makes you feel nice afterwards, makes you feel good, happy, content for a short moment. But the more you practice this, the more that feeling begins to last, to leak into the rest of your life. And you can find little moments in your day where you can appreciate this moment you are in. Like this. Stop for a moment now and ask yourself, what will be my next thought? What will be my next thought? Just watch and wait. Just that. Is there anything there? Do you know? What will be your next thought? Just that. No? Surely the thought will come along, sooner or later. But there it is, right there. That was the moment where there was no thought. That moment where you did not know what would be my next thought, the answer to that simple question. And it is there, that which you are looking for. That space between thoughts, where there is no thought. So, it isn't about trying to stop thinking. It is just stopping and watching thinking and finding the space between the thoughts. Like, before flicking to the next short video, putting your phone down, taking a deep breath, and asking yourself, why? Why am I flicking to the next video? And if you're really honest with yourself, you don't know why, and our usual answer is, well, I'm bored. Let's see what the next one is. Bored, bored. And one might grab your attention for 10 seconds and count for someone as a view, or 30 seconds and count for someone as a view. And an advertiser might count you as a statistic, as someone who's bored. And what an ideal statistic you are. A fish, a mini fish in a huge shoal of fish, many fish in an ocean of buyers to be hooked by the bait. Why? Because you're bored. And this is why we buy things. This is why we want things. Because there's this temptation continuously. But the more time you can spend in that moment of no thought, that space between the thoughts, the more you will learn to appreciate it and understand it as being where, and the only place where there is true contentment. And this is meditation. It doesn't have to take hours every day, although it is those hours where you are putting the work in to train the mind, like the hours you would put in a gym or out running, jogging, to train the physical body. The hours we sit just doing nothing, watching maybe the breath as your meditation object. This is exercising, training the mind. We don't need to do much more than that. If we're keeping moral precepts, let's just say being good, doing no harm to yourself or anyone else, and meditating, the wisdom that will arise not only will be the greater wisdom about really what is the meaning of life, and yes, this wisdom will come, you will understand, and you will attain to the goal of true happiness, which is contentment. But even before that, you can see for yourself and experience for yourself the perfection, the truth, the purity, tranquility, and clarity of mind that comes through seeing and understanding the space between thoughts. And this can be as simple as just stopping and asking yourself, what will be my next thought? So, in view of all of our short attention spans, I'll keep this video relatively short today and give you the opportunity to try this out. Before flicking to the next video, just sit for a moment or two and do nothing. Put your phone down. Now, for 2 or 3 days, I have been here now for nearly 40 days in Thailand, and in this monastery for just under 40 days. I came here on my 3rd day in Thailand, and I've been nowhere else except just 1 or 2 trips out to see dead people and funerals, and 1 short trip to the local immigration office a day or so ago just to sort some formalities out. But other than that, and arms round every morning, I've just been here in the forest, just meditating. But each day I have made a short video, and this involves uploading and checking your phone from time to time. So for a few days I thought, no, I won't do that. The phone can just stay wherever it was in the kuti, and I will have a phone-free few days. There are always occasions when you have to pick it up for something or other, you know. In this day and age, my books are all on there. My chanting books, my what we call our Bhikkhu manual, so little points of rules and etiquette and things we have to know, and sometimes you check on, and this kind of thing. Some information with regards to what I had to sort out at the immigration office. Well, actually, no, I didn't. This has really been a good experience for me. It really is an immersion in a full immersion in letting go. Because up to now, even as a monk, I've always had some responsibilities, some things to do, my own applications for visa extensions, all of the online stuff that we used to have to do regularly in India through the COVID times. I used to always be thinking about where my next meal was coming from, how I was getting from A to B, this transport. In fact, you know, in Thailand, since literally the minute I got off the plane, I've had to do nothing for myself as a monk, not one thing. I knew where I was going to get here from the airport to the bus, but just heading in that direction, people helped me and asked where you're going, got my ticket, got me on the bus, a better bus than I would have got on, and got me here. And within a couple of days I was within this monastery, whereby since I've had nothing to think about, to do, other than this practice. Now that is, for me as a monk, the ideal situation for this practice. And you may not be religious. I'm a monk, so I'm religious, depending on your understanding of the word religion, because we don't believe in anything. There's no God. We just have faith, which we could even just call confidence in the practice and the teachings of the Buddha. Because, like I said earlier and didn't quite finish saying, I'm not the teacher, I'm just the student of the Buddha and the Dharma, the Buddha's teachings. And my teachers are the Sangha. And in this tradition, bhikkhus of more than 10 vasas, pansas, years in these robes, which is a long time. Although time goes very quickly when you're a monk, that's for sure. But they have that experience of 10 years as living as monks as a minimum requirement to be able to teach, and that is when they are called Ajahn, which means teacher. And I'm very fortunate to have two very good Ajahns here living with me. No one else, that's it. So they can keep a very close eye on me. And externally, my teachers in this tradition, all in different places of the world, that I have either met and stayed in their monasteries or know online, as you do, they assist me in the learning and the practice too. So we are all students. Even they are still students, those senior teachers of the Buddha and the Dharma and the Sangha, the Arya Sangha, the Noble Sangha. And this is what we must always remind ourselves about when we are looking at what we are. Is we are people, human beings, infinitely fallible. We are brothers and sisters in aging, sickness and death, which is the Dharma, is the truth. So we are brothers and sisters in the Dharma, but we look to our more experienced and, let's say, masters in the Dharma, whom have spent their entire, well, for a long time, part of their lives, a large part of their lives, just studying this, practicing this Dharma. And they're the people we look to for help, for advice, and whom give us the example. Because of course the best way to teach, and the Buddha did this, and in other religions, Jesus, Muhammad, and throughout all of the philosophical world, the best teachers have been those that lead by example, teach by example. This is an important thing to understand, because this is where we build that faith, that confidence, rather than blind faith or belief. And this is the difference between Buddhism and all other religions, which require belief in their scriptures, in their writings, in their histories, belief in a God or a what would they call it, a higher, not so necessary being, force, if you like, even the universe, even Mother Nature. The universe, Mother Nature, is not so much a belief, this is the facts of life and truth, but the creational ideas behind that can start to become something that you have to believe, and there's nothing wrong with that if that is what you choose. But this religion of Buddhism does not require anything other than for you to practice the teachings and experience the results for yourself. There you can witness, see, and have within this lifetime, you don't have to wait to die, within this lifetime, the fruits and attain to the goal of the practice and know it for yourself. But to do so, you have to be back to this present moment, here and now. This breath in and the next breath out are possibly all we can be sure that we ever will have. We don't know what's around the corner. We can be sure we'll die, but we don't know when. So we enjoy each and every moment. And when we're enjoying each and every moment, we are no longer in the past, trying to be where we haven't arrived yet. and worrying about it. We're no longer thinking about the past. I should have said future then. No longer thinking about the past and regretting what we have or haven't done. We're right here in this moment where we can decide for ourselves what we'll do. We can't regret this moment, and we can't worry about this moment. It's here. In this single moment, there is no time. It is always now. And however far you travel, wherever you go, you will always be here. So here and now may be a cliche, but the best cliches are cliches, are repeated time and time again, because they are the truth. And that's all Buddhism is. It is the truth. So with that, I will leave you. Wish you my best, and that you are happy and well. And goodbye.